Anyway, here we go. Ouch versus EnderSword. Game 3 on Yansu. Spawning in the lower left here on Yansu, we have our Teal Terran once again. Ouch. Playing for StratK Gaming. And having evened up the series, hoping to take the ace match and therefore some honor for his team, Alloy eSports, we have EnderSword, our purple Protoss. Now, for those of you who may have missed some of the earlier matches, our score is already 6-1 in favor of StratK. They absolutely have won the league. But here in the Chobo Team League, every game is played. Because they can be played anytime during the week. And so here we have our final game of this match. With EnderSword versus Ouch, which has been pretty good so far. We had two really good games. Ouch taking the first and EnderSword taking the second. So here we are, into the third game. EnderSword sending a pretty early probe scout. Starting with a gateway. And we're going to see Reaper expand out of Ouch once more. Because, hey, if it works, why change it? The probe confirmed that everything looks as it always does. Up to this point in the game, Ouch has not made any differences. His build's been identical. Reaper expand every game. Like I said, it works. Why change it? Wonder if the Reaper will once again kill the probe that is circling in his base. Probably. The probe might be smart enough to leave this time, but no, it's not. Yep, and there goes the Reaper to kill the probe. And it will. There is no escape for that probe. First blood. And so the Reaper heads across the map. Everything looking literally identical to the other two games so far. Including the death of the probe. Happened every game. So we're going to watch this Reaper as it goes and sees what it can see. Probe coming down to make the Nexus for EnderSword. Could have been disastrous if the Reaper had caught it, but it did not. The Reaper finding a Stalker, running away, knowing that it cannot tangle with the Stalker, because it can't. Lots more barracks coming down this time. For Ouch, heading more into heavy barracks this time rather than the factory of earlier upgrade. It does have a tech lab coming down, so we're almost certainly going to see STEM starting really soon. Yeah, and there it is. Second CC finishes becoming an orbital and starts floating down to the second base location. So both players are going to have their second bases about the same time. EnderSword getting a forge. Putting down more gateways. Combat shields now also on the way for our Terran player. It looks like that Reaper's gonna see what it can see over here, confirming that there's no third first. And it's probably gonna head in and see what it can do up here. Yep. There it is, and no stalker position, but pretty nice. Sim City causes it to spend most of its time just, you know, seeing what it can see. It's gonna die. Goodbye, Reaper. This was its only escape point, and that was covered by the entire army of EnderSword at this point. Anyway, Stim and Combat Shield are just about to finish for our Terran player. +1 armor on the way for EnderSword, as well as a Robo. Robotics facility, not Robo Bay. Just about to be finished. And we have Ouch pushing out with force once again. Looking very like the first game. Very similar timings, very similar everything. Yep. To bait out the photon overcharge, use a stim. Take down one zealot, use one marine. Pretty even trades. But what he really wanted was to bail out the photon overcharge, which he succeeded at. First starport just on the way for Ouch. A little bit slower time than that first game. More troops, oops, less medevacs. That's pretty much how he's been going. As compared to that game. In that first game, everything worked out quite well for him. He won very handily. Though it took him a long time. It was a good game to watch. He was ahead most of the game. Second base at pretty much full saturation. Back home for EnderSword, he's pretty much full saturation on his two bases. See more gateways coming down at Twilight Council. An Immortal, extended thermal lance out of the newly put down Robotics Bay. I'm sure we'll see a Colossus come out quite soon after that Immortal is now finished. Actually adding in a cannon. Probably fancy gets dropped by. Yep, a few cannons. Good to see drop defense. Ouch pushing out again with a ton of bio. Nothing but bio, just bio. There's the medevacs. They're about to join up. That'll be good because a lot of them have been stimmed once, so need to be fixed up a little so they can stim more. This is now scouted by this observer. And put on overcharge, throw him out immediately. Nice one. Marine's trying to trade a little bit. Pretty much lose a Marine. Medevac's doing what they can to heal up this group, but they're actually going to use up all the energy of the Medevacs that way, because there's a lot of troops and all these Medevacs. Anyway, a squad of reinforcements come across. A lot more troops, a few more Medevacs. Continuing to be a little bit light on Medevacs, at least in my opinion. But with that photon overcharge gone, the army decides to really engage at this point, and maybe too much here for EnderSword to deal with. The force fields are pretty good, holding back a lot of it, but Marauders still have a lot of range. Charge on those zealots is really helpful. But our Terran player continues to kite back, take out a number of zealots. All in all, a pretty good exchange for our Terran player. He may have lost a little bit more resources there, but at the very least he ate a lot of shield energy, ate a time warp. And I wonder where these medevacs are headed off to. They're boosting back this way. They're almost certainly going to head into the main. Looks like we're going to see a two-pronged attack here from Ouch. Probably doing this drop in the main while attacking with his main force in the front. And in the meantime, he's taking a third behind this, so pretty good multitask. There's the drop. Drop is very effective. First Colossus is out, going to help clean this up, but not before a ton of probes were taken down. In the meantime, with everything out of position, Colossus gets to get taken down for free as the remaining Marauders here destroy the natural. That drop was nicely cleaned up, but the natural was lost, a ton of probes were lost. Really good attack for Ouch. EnderSword does have a third coming up, as well as reforming his natural, but things are looking pretty good for Ouch. He got 3 bases going. A pretty good saturation at all 3 bases, actually. Well, actually, he's, mostly mined out his main, so sent a lot of the SCVs onto the third. But things are looking pretty good for Ouch at this point. He's up 50 supply. Continually had an economic lead. Both players are significant gas banks at this point. Surprising to see a Protoss player that much of a gas bank. Now, EnderSword does have one thing going for him. He has 2-1 to Ouch's 1-1. Ouch is not even researching any further upgrades. I believe he just didn't put down an armory. Whereas his +2 armor is on the way, as well as another Colossus to join up with the little force. Now the natural is back up. Third is now up. But the third probably isn't going to last very long. There's a few Vikings here to deal with if any Colossi. There's no other splash damage. There's a large stim bioforce here. There's no way this third is going to win. Vikings do get the Colossi. Photon Overcharge gets a number of the Vikings. But the Vikings have done their job, really. Medevac's got to back off if they want to survive. But this stim bioforce should be able to take down this next team with it. Another Colossus just finished up, but one Colossus isn't going to do all that much with that kind of bioforce. The force field were good, giving him a little bit more time, but I mean, if this force just turned around right now, they'd win. He doesn't know that, of course, but they would. Up 80 supply. More Vikings, more Medevacs, more Marauders, more Marines. 2-2. Yep, no more photon overcharges to be had. That Colossus is doing work, but it's done. And with that Colossus falls EnderSword's chances. GG. That will be it for this series. Ouch taking it 2-1 and bringing our final score to 7-1 for StratK Gaming. Hope you enjoyed this cast of StratK Gaming versus Alloy eSports from the second week of Chobo Team League play. Now, considering that both of those are pretty short. I will probably actually be back in, I don't know, half hour-ish and do a third Earth set. I haven't decided which one yet. I'll mention it in the channel, and of course you'll see it in the stream title, anyone watching. I'll have a lot of fun cutting up VODs, let me tell you. Anyway, that'll be it for this one. Hope you had fun.